immediately after escape. We might see them still go towards Hyrule Castle, Kakariko, but we're going to be getting going, so we'll actually see what we have in our house before heading up to escape.
Oh, look at that. We get 3 bombs out of our house chest. That's going to make the back of escape accessible, hopefully, unless we are trolled by a bomb seed by the uncle, which might make them be a little bit more conservative with it. But that's always a nice start. Makes you feel very comfortable if you're a runner to see those bombs early on.
Yeah, bombs early on are great unless Uncle has bombs as well. I have seen that happen already, in fact, on one that I commentated, so we'll see what the runners get here.
Oh, and it is the hammer. All right, so we're going to be thumping things along the way. Hammer's great. It does tempered sword damage, so all of these guards are going to die to 1 hit. We get 10 arrows in the first chest of escape.
Now, the other nice thing for the runners is they can go through and just do the normal navigation through the guards and everything. They don't need to really worry about killing any extra guards looking for a bomb drop or stuff, because we do get those bombs. And really, nothing is going to be too difficult for them. As you said, everything will go down in 1 hammer shot. About the most annoying enemy with the hammer is that rope in the back, just because the hammer has a shorter hitbox.
Yes, to get that key in the dark is sometimes a little bit tricky with the hammer. If you're trying to face upwards, as it usually runs up to the top corner there, and upwards with the hammer is the smallest hitbox that weapon actually has. Left and right are the biggest, and then down is a little bit smaller, but not too much. But the upwards direction is noticeably different.
Yeah, and we did get early Quake Medallion from our first chest here in the basement of Hyrule Castle, so that's... I mean, it's nice for the runners because at least that's already 1/3 of the way to being sure that you'll be able to get into Rock and Mire without having to hunt down medallions, but something that's not going to be really beneficial to them early on.
Yes, especially because they will need to find a sword before they get the ability to use that. So we see the map here at this early part of escape, and that's going to tell us that most likely the sanctuary chest is going to be necessary to pick up. If you make it all the way through escape without seeing the map, then you know it's going to be in there, which does let them speed out of the sanctuary after rescuing Zelda. Oh, Truzzl having a little trouble with this green knight. See that upwards getting knocked around. The hitbox just was not cooperating, and Fred there making short, quick time with the ball and chain guard there to escape.
Yeah, ball and chain guard is really scary with the hammer. The timing's a little different from fighting him with the sword, so a lot of runners will actually just see you go with the 2-pot strat instead of trying to take him out with the hammer. Either way, it's still 2 hits. But both runners did a really good job of taking him out without too much issue.
Yep, and they've recovered. There's a lot of hearts in those pots there, so it's very easy to recover. They both have 2 hearts, nice and healthy to make it through the back section of escape here. In a very decent amount of time, I think. We're already at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's looking like they're going to be on par for a very quick time.
Yeah, really, you don't want to spend more than maybe 6.5 minutes. I mean, with the range of different weapons that you can get, 5.5 to 6.5 minutes is normally what you'll want to see getting out of escape. Now, unfortunately, some runners will get held out, or the worst case, you don't get a bomb and you end up having to come back to escape afterwards. But normally between 5.5 and 6.5 minutes is really good for runners to be able to leave escape and get started on their journey across Hyrule. Probably we'll see both runners go to Kakariko after this, unless we get something really, really good in the back of escape here.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing that I have noticed is it's been very intermittent on whether or not the runners are choosing to check the lumberjack house coming out of escape. Sometimes there's a school of thought that, you know, if you're going to have to go there, you'll know that you're going to have to go there anyway. And so that 20 seconds or so may just be a delay that you don't need to take. Whereas others would rather know right off the bat and maybe help them make the decision to take out AGA 1 if they need to earlier. So what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, as I said, I've seen Fred play a lot, so I know his strategy specifically. He is going to skip checking what Lumberjack's cave holds. He normally waits until he has at least one of the pieces, whether he does defeat Aga before going there or once he gets boots. He doesn't really see much point, and I understand really no point in checking unless you have at least some pieces of that puzzle to know whether you need to go there or not.
And there we see an example where Truzzl misses the first swing on that key rat, just slows you down just a little minute. And in the escape, when you're trying to make a fast time through it, that is every second counts. So we find a piece of heart, a second piece of heart, and a big 20 in the back of escape. Nothing really to write home about, I would say there.
No, just a lot of red back there. So other than the quick medallion, which, as I said, isn't really beneficial early on, not a lot of hype in escape today. So we'll see what Kakariko holds. Normally we'll find one or two decent items that can start leading towards some sort of progression over there, but we don't know. We'll also probably see our tree pool as well as our crab items at some point too. And we'll fetch quest item with the shovel.
Yes, the shovel leading to a fetch quest, which is actually kind of a nice item to get early on in the game because Kakariko clear, the checks there kind of naturally progress you from north to south, and then just checking that dig spot in the grove is really kind of a comfortable routing decision to make. So it's always kind of a benefit to get it early on.
Absolutely, and we do see Fred just skipping over the Lumberjack, and it looks like Truzzl may be making his play up there. So we'll have Fred checking out the woods here, getting his pull and his 20 rupee pull. Truzzl finding the same.
Yes, and another piece of heart at the mushroom location. Fred decides that he's just going to leave that there in the woods. Well, he falls down and gets the fire rod in the bandit's hideout there.
There's our first piece of progression item, and with just 5 rupees for the Lumberjack's cave, so absolutely no need for Aganim there. We already do have one of our 3 required items for Dark World access, where we won't require Aganim, but we'll see where we are.
And this is, as viewers, you can see that this is exactly the reason why a lot of runners are not making that Lumberjack check. Just looking at the amount of time that Fred has saved by avoiding it. Of course, if it was a necessary item, he would be lacking that information. But generally speaking, the logic of the seed is probably going to lead you there anyway. So it makes sense to make that skip wherever possible. So Truzzl picks up his fire rod, and now we are taking our first look at Blind's hut.
Still just nothing too much. We do get some Mario, which can make if we enter an early Thieves town and have blind, it can make that fight a little safer. Not necessarily easier because these runners are both accomplished, and we get 300 rupees, so we're almost in Zora range as well.
Yes, they will have to spend a few rupees in Kakariko to fully clear that out, but probably with the number of chests that they have to open up, they'll probably get a few more rupees to make up for that. So Fred's going to fall down to the back of the well, and we'll get a look at another 5 items.
And bottle in the first chest there, that is wonderful to get a bottle in Kakariko, so you don't have to reroute back to Sick Kid at any point. So he will be able to just work that into his routing. Just a boomerang, another piece of heart, and arrow upgrade. So nothing too great in the well unless Sick Kid has something good for us.
Bottle vendor has just another +5 arrow upgrade, so nothing to write home about there. And Fred's going to take a look at Sick Kid, show him a fancy bottle, and in return he gives you the bug net. Interesting.
Yeah, always a fun, interesting item to get. Never a progression item, but it's always entertaining to get. Can be kind of beneficial depending on where you are health-wise, and also can make Aganim a lot more fun.
So Fred had to go and buy some extra bombs because as both of our runners were out of bombs, they couldn't check they could not check the chicken coop house here, and so he's going to take a look at that now. I just realized that was a vanilla bug net, so there you go.
Yeah, you're always bound to get one vanilla item throughout the game. So Fred does score with his chicken throw. So plus 10 to Fred for that.
Yeah, swag strats to go with his swag net.
Now,
And go ahead.
We are going to get 2 more checks here from Fred. He is going to check what's in the library, and he'll also just go over and take a peek at race game. He won't necessarily complete it right away, just to see what's over there.
Ooh, the library with the literacy. So there we go, another vanilla item.
Truzzl purchasing his bomb so he can go take out the wall in the chicken coop, and just 20 rupees that race game. So we will not be running through bushes today.
Yep, and so now this is Fred's going to go and check the dig spot because of the early shovel pickup. It does kind of mess with your typical routing. Sometimes I've seen runners like you're just so used to saving and quitting there to warp to their house that they might kind of hesitate here, but this is the right call. It's always nice if you have the the power glove, so that you can just walk through the rock there instead of having to do the save and quit. But that's what Fred's forced to do here.
Yeah. So far nothing really going on in terms of directing our runners on where to go. Now we are going to get 7 more checks here for items in the dam and the mini mortal and cave. May see our runners go over to ice rod cave, but it depends on how they typically route. Fred will sometimes avoid it until he has boots or flute, but we'll see what decision he makes.
So we see here that Truzzl did either chose not to look at the dig spot at this time, or has maybe slipped his mind that he got the shovel, but we know that it isn't going to hurt him significantly, as it was just a piece of art. We found some rupees, I believe that was, under the water, and 20 rupees inside the dam, so nothing major. Yeah, 50 rupees under the water.
Yeah, Fred is going to pick that. Yeah, he's going to pick that up, so he is over 500. Definitely a good spot to be.
Chat is speculating that we are going to get the mirror from the old man for the next vanilla find that this seed is going to give us.
Yeah, that would be definitely interesting. Maybe green pendant, Eastern Palace with Saharasla having the boots.
That little mini Moldorn there is stuck up above the kind of not getting into the bomb site. Was kind of funny there. So let's take a look at these 5 checks. 300 rupees, a +5 bomb upgrade, the single arrow, there it is, a full heart container, and another fairy in a bottle. So I must say the seed is being a little, it's holding the weapons pretty close to its chest right now. We've got the fire rod, and we've got the hammer, and that's about it. Quake Medallion, not really worth anything until we get a sword. Truzzl having a little bit of difficulty there with that mini Moldorn.
Yeah, so Fred is going to go up and check out the Ice Rod Cave. Now, he knows that there's very few spaces left in typical logic without sequence breaking to give him progression, so he is going to check up here to see if he can get one of those progression items. Now, he's not afraid to fake flipper and go check all that stuff, but you don't really want to take the fake flipper up to Zora unless you're absolutely forced to without like the Moon Pearl, because really you're taking a long trip for just one item at that point.
Mm-hmm. And yes, the 20 rupees there's really not a satisfactory find. I think you must be kind of feeling, I think at this moment, if you're one of these runners, just where are all the goodies located? So Fred's going to head over to Eastern Palace, probably get the 3 behind Saharshala's hut, and most likely give us a look at a map maybe and see what exact where the crystals and pendants are in the light world, probably before he dips into Eastern Palace.
Yeah, it seems that all runners check at different times of for the crystal and pendant checks. I typically do it right after Kakariko to sort of direct me where I want to go next. But some runners actually, if they feel forced to Eastern regardless, they won't even check beforehand. they'll just go by the music, knowing that they're going into Eastern, whether or not it is pendant or crystal.
Just another set of 2 pieces of heart and a big 20. It's just like the back of Escape all over again, mirrored this time. And Fred is definitely making his way to Eastern Palace, I would say. There is really only Eastern Palace checks left in Logic and Agina's Cave. Of course, it's most likely he will do the sequence break and the dark rooms in the early part of Eastern Palace as well.
Yeah, no one wants to go to Agina's Cave without making a trip to Desert as well. It's just so out of the way. So
we did see the book on the bookshelf there, so in the library. So perhaps Boots will be an early find and might end up leading our runners that way.
And we did get a map check on Truzzle's side. I did not check the color, but I believe Eastern might be a green pennant.
It's nice to find the big key first, so if you can keep track of items and you know that you don't have the bow, you may not have to go through the dark room at this time, so we'll have to keep count. There's 3 items, I believe, in Eastern that are possible to be found.
Yeah, unfortunately, having to take the long way around. I always like coming to Eastern with the hookshot just so I can take the quicker route to this chest, but not too big of a deal. And we'll map. So that actually means that, according to logic, one of our items is not technically accessible because compass is still out there, but we have 3 items and 2 are beyond dark rooms. So unless we get a lamp, there is 1 item that is technically out of logic, even though both of our runners can get to it, get to one of the chests.
Fred was taking a look at the map there. He wanted to see if it was a legit map.
It is a vanilla Eastern Palace map.
Yeah. And he finds in this chest the Moon Pearl, which is going to activate their ability to walk around in the Dark World. They don't have Dark World access yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if that clues him into or keys him into making a fake flipper check at this point. He has the Zora rupees, and those 2 extra chests in the Waterfall of Wishing really make that an enticing option.
Absolutely, and you also do get to check the ledge. Typically, you don't see much on the ledge worthwhile, so at least being able to check it and have knowledge of what's there so you know if you have to return or not. So you can technically cover 4 items by doing the fake flippers at this point.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and as well, if you make the choice, you can go and check the hobo under the bridge. Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but it is important to note Fred is doing this dark room and
He's having
doing
a little
a
trouble.
sequence break. So that means that Agina right now is most definitely going to have something in play. But Fred taking a death.
Yeah. Has the fairy in a bottle though, so it's no major problem. Which at this low level of hearts, it's going to be enough for him to get full health back.
Yeah, which is nice because he would have been taking the death anyway. Coming out of there with only 1.5 hearts, you do need to take at least that much damage to do this little skip for this item, and it was just a compass. So he's going to save and quit, and my guess is we will see him fake Flipper, but Agina, for our progression purposes, is the next play.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's actually making his way towards in that direction. Fred's heading towards the desert, so perhaps he's making the decision to follow the logic instead of take that sequence break. Maybe he's feeling like the seed is trying to be linear for a reason.
Yeah, and knowing that that's really his only play. He knows he's guaranteed to get something nice out of this. What it is, we don't know, but Truzzl is going to go the opposite direction. He is going to do his fake flippering to get to the hobo and all the goodies up by Zora's domain.
Yeah, you do have to feel, if you're one of these runners, if you think about this, that Agina has to have something of value here, and so that is probably a good time, as good a time as any to check it, because it could be a significant item. Yeah, he throws a bomb on his face just to be upset with him, and we find ourselves the power glove, which now gives our runners access to the Dark World.
Yeah, and this is going to be the interesting part where we see possibly an early dip into Thieves Town. Remember, we also have the Fire Rod, so if we get a sword, that means that Skull Woods would also be fully clearable. So Fred finally doing his check, seeing the 2 crystals and the green pendant, and then he'll probably do a check immediately after getting into the Dark World.
And I believe the Desert Palace crystal was a 5/6 crystal, if I was not mistaken. I thought that was red.
Yeah, it did look red, so.
All right, so kind of a little bit frustrating having to take the long way around to get to the Dark World portal here until you have the Titan's Mitt. It's just one of those things when you're playing this game and having to go through all of those bushes. It's frustrating when you don't have a sword, but it is their only play at this time. Meanwhile, Truzzl is going to head up and give us a look at what's under the bridge, see what the old hobo has for us today.
So Fred following the logic, Truzzl trying to get a little bit ahead by doing the fake flippers. So we know that it seems that Dark World is going to be where our access is, and our medallions I'm sorry, not our medallions, our pendants are T-Rock and Ice Palace, so both Skullwoods and Thieves Town are viable play options early on, with crystals being here, and Fred is going to make the play for Skullwoods first.
So finding nothing of extreme value there under the bridge, we're going to take a look at Zora's domain now from Truzzle's side, and the first chest in Skullwoods does not give us anything. I think that was the compass, if I was not mistaken.
Yes, it was the compass and just a key here, so nothing doing for Fred so far. Luckily, he does not have to walk down and around and up the other direction, but at least one more chest here.
Whoa, the Titan's Mitt there in Skullwoods is a great early find. That gives us full Dark World access, even without flippers or hookshot. We can go anywhere now. That always feels great. Meanwhile, we see a +10 arrow upgrade on the Zora ledge. We had a piece of heart and some rupees inside the Waterfall of Wishing. And we're about to find out just what kind of deal King Zora is going to give us today for our 500 rupees.
Yeah, hopefully for Truzzl it is something big, because otherwise this would have been a real waste of time, and it's just a bomb upgrade. So, man, that is really discouraging to do the fake flippers and get no reward out of it whatsoever.
Indeed, and as we now know with our knowledge here, oh, Fred taking another death off the spikes there. I'm not sure if that was. I think that might have been intentional.
Yes.
Yeah, because he saw what was in that last chest, so he's gonna head out because he has no sword to continue on doing any more desert or any more major checks here. Although I suppose he could go and get the first chest in the back of Skullwoods, but I wasn't keeping track if he has gotten the 2 items there or not yet. So.
No, he has only 1 item, so it would be kind of bad if that second item was in that first chest and it was a sword, but you don't bank on that as a runner, so him leaving here is not a bad play. He's going to go into Thieves Town, which will have some potential, especially because he has the hammer, so he can actually full clear Thieves Town as well right now.
Yep, so we're going to get a look at the C-shaped house. And we'll see in here, in this chest, we find just the single green rupee. Truzzle's probably going to be kicking himself for not coming to this check first, saving and quitting out. Now at least he has a direction to go, though.
Yeah, he's going to make the play for Ganon now, and the only big difference is that Fred has a lot more exploration, and well, there's Fred's sword, so now he can actually full clear both of these dungeons up this way, take out Thieves Town, and then head right back up into Skull Woods for his pendant from there as well.
Yes, he'll probably check chest game. I think in my experience, I think I like taking the Thieves Town first here, just because of the number of items that are available to you. Fred's giving the chest game operator there a little sword to the face for giving him such a bad deal on that big 20. Meanwhile, Truzzle's going to open up Hype Cave, find a hook shot, which is a impressively useful item. The powder, blue mail, and the bow. Could we have a more hype cave than that? I don't think so.
Yeah, definitely living up to its name today. So Fred electing to do the Village of Outcasts first is a little bit behind on some of those really good items, but nothing too bad. We're going to see Truzzl. I wonder if he's going to go towards the Village of Outcasts or if he's going to sequence break up to Death Mountain with the hookshot now.
I'm not sure, but Fred was not. He's not going to come out of Thieves Town empty-handed. He did pick up the mirror in one of these front chests, so that is also a pretty. You're going to feel good about making that decision, no matter what. The mirror is such a versatile and useful item, and is going to be required for dungeons like Swamp Palace and the flute. Both of these locations were just loaded for our runners.
Yeah, and the great thing for that with Fred is, well, he's already in the Village of Outcasts, so he can just now mirror to activate his flute. But mirror will allow for a very fluid check of a bunch of different areas as he's making his way over to Hype Cave. So he will be able to clear out a lot of locations by having that mirror.
Indeed. It really is going to probably be followed. Truzzle's probably going to manage to grab his relatively soon as well because of the natural progression that you do. You check. Looks like he's actually going to make the call to go down to Kakariko Village first, or Village of Outcasts, sorry. So he'll be following suit as well. I imagine that Fred will likely be getting down to the south route as well, since he has the Titan's Mitts. Taking the south route out of the Village of Outcasts is a natural progression, although he may swing up to Skullwoods and finish that off first, which may change things for him.
Yeah, the only thing that Truzzle's going to have over Fred right now is the ability to check Batcave. Otherwise, they will be able to cover a lot of the same stuff, and Fred will make his way down there. So, really, both of our runners pretty much neck and neck, even though the routing's been a little bit different. They have a lot of the same information and will have a lot of the same items here in maybe 10-15 minutes.
Yes, though I could speculate, like if Fred finds in either Swamp or in the last part of Thieves Town an item like perhaps Cape or the boots even, that might lead him up to the northern exit out of the Village of Outcasts, which may delay his check on the Hype Cave. But we'll have to see what happens before that. That's just pure speculation at this point. So we have both of our runners in Thieves Town right now. Truzzle's about to pick up his mirror. Oh, I'm mistaken. He's already got it. And we're about to see what is located here with Blind in the dungeon of Thieves Town. Oh, Fred gets fireballed in the back. And unfortunately, that's a game over for him at a most inopportune time. Looks like he's going to choose to continue on, though.
Yeah, that's a really rough area to take a death. I mean, you can't really get much further away from the entrance than that specific room. So he will have to make his trip all the way back down there. It's going to allow Truzzl to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, he's just making the choice to try to go through that area as quick as possible and left one too many enemies up, it seems, and just wasn't counting on those fireballs to be so prolific from that area, but they were unfortunately pinpoint accurate at this point.
Yeah, I always tend to take that enemy out just because I hate the fireball snipes that it tends to come away with. So Fred making his way back down.
So our runners giving a little high five to one another at that point.
Yeah, luckily Fred doesn't have to actually go the whole way down to where Truzzl is. But, yeah, I mean, really only about, a minute 15 seconds ahead of Truzzl in this specific dungeon. And then has a lead over Truzzl in Skullwoods, but Truzzl has the Hype Cave advantage over Fred.
Mm-hmm. See if he experiences the same problem. Nope, this time manages to avoid getting fireballed in the back.
Gets the key, which is actually really nice. You either want the key to be before blind or, you know, locked up in its own chest, because there's nothing worse than defeating blind and having to come back down for your final item.
Just a compass in the big key, or in the big chest there. Another advantage that Truzzl does have right now is he is wearing the blue mail, so those little fireballs and things like that that you experience from both the blind fight and various things along the way in this dungeon are going to hurt him a little bit less, because both of our runners are light in the hearts department at this point.
Yeah, it's always scary when you get super early Dark World access without much in the way of health, so we may see the Cane of Burna come into play here, depending on where they get. Unfortunately, Fred actually doesn't have a lot of health, a lot of magic, so won't come into play for him, but he's definitely practiced blind enough that he should be able to get through this without too much problem.
Looks like he's readying up the cane just in case. It won't last too long, and he's down to 2 hearts. Oh, with the green mail, that's just 1 body check by blind, and it unfortunately does not go his way. He was on his last hit required. Meanwhile, Truzzl is about to make his first attempt at this boss. With the blue mail and full hearts, that's going to be a little bit more comfortable for him. He does not have a sword, though, so he's doing this with the hammer.
Yeah, unfortunately with blind, it doesn't matter what weapon you have. It's 3 hits to each head, so having sword over hammer or a hammer over the fighter sword is no real benefit. And blind being a troll, but he does make the final hit on blind before blind can take him out. So was that ice rod?
It was the ice rod. It was that blue mail was the difference maker. He did get hit at that last second, but the blue mail reduced the damage from 2 to 1 heart, so it was what let him stay alive. And he gets an ice rod for his troubles. Fred is
having to be careful again, yeah.
Fred is in the same boat again with 1 heart. 1 hit is going to be it for him at this point. He made use of the cane once again, but it's just too overwhelming with this small number of hearts, and you have to feel for a runner at this point. Will he continue? No, it looks like he's going to elect to come back and use a little bit more safety and security.
Yeah, and given his difficulties with blind and the fact that he does have items to check and everything like that, he may just elect to leave both Thieves Town and Skullwoods until a little bit later when he's a little more equipped, because Mothula with 6 hearts and Fighter Sword is no better than having to take on blind there.
That's true. As well, we're lucky and fortunate enough to know that it is the Ice Rod, and since Turtle Rock is a pendant dungeon and not the green pendant, there's a good chance that it won't be necessary until later on, and so he'll have an opportunity to come back. You visit this area of the game many times along the way through most playthroughs. So
oh, and look at Fred's decision. He's actually just going to buy potions, and he's going to immediately head back to the Village of Outcasts. He's probably going to take on blind with full equipment.
He does not look too happy about it. Angry swings along the way and pulling on some hedges, but he's not going to let blind get the best of him. Meanwhile, the Mad Batter, Truzzl is going to activate him, and we will be cursed with a big heart.
Can you really call health more health curse?
That Mad Batter, he doesn't seem to understand what he's actually what a curse is. Perhaps in the Dark World, everything is opposite. I'm not sure.
So Truzzl is gonna go pick up, or he's gonna get this last item from the bomb hut, and then probably go pick up his frog before doing the Great Village of Outcasts fetch quests.
Yeah, he may. That is the sword, so it might influence him into heading up to Skullwoods as well after this, so we'll take a look and see. He's putting a little thought in, but he's probably going to go check up Jeremiah, maybe do the dig game first, because That seems to be a likely pattern. Now, he doesn't have the Titan's Myth, so he is actually going to have to... he's going to have to mirror out and flute back to the Kakariko village and then use the portal there to get back in if he wants to head towards the checks that he has not yet done.
Oh yeah, forgot about Titans being in Skullwood. So yeah, he will either have to go to Skullwoods first or do the save and quit, which will probably anger him when he sees the Titans Myth. So both of our runners missing key thing going through, and just a 3-pack of bombs here.
Now Fred managed to finish up blind there. I'm not even sure if he needed to use his blue potion. I wasn't really paying attention at the time, I'm afraid. I didn't see if he activated it. But
he did use it, but did not actually need it because he didn't take any damage after using it.
So Truzzle's going to be able to check the Stumpy here. He has the mirror, so he'll check the cave south of the grove.
We'll probably also check his shovel here as well, or maybe not.
Fred waving to us in the dig game, spelling out hi. Everybody wave back. With 2 seconds to spare, manages to get the item. Dig game was being pretty trolly with how much it made both of our runners dig. Of course, in Randomizer Seed, it will be the same number of digs for both players on the first try through there. So,
yeah, South of Grove came up with nothing because, well, it was only a great 20 rupees. So, Fred picking up his frog, he will trade it in for something. We don't know what yet.
Yes, Truzzle wasn't able to trade the frog in. He does not have the Titan's Myths to get into this area of the Dark World. Although he could have mirrored and come in for the Light World. Maybe he just decided not to make that choice.
Well, he couldn't even actually pick up the frog without the Titans.
Oh, that's of course you're right. They're dull. They are skulls, and we'll also we're gonna take a look here at the hammer pegs in a few seconds.
So Truzzle is heading up to Skullwood, so he will get his mitts, and while Hammer Pegs is not a lot, just paying you for your hard work. So we'll probably see Fred complete all these. Won't be able to do Mad Batter quite yet, but we'll probably see him pick up the purple chest, deliver that on his way down to the Hype Cave.
And again, another big 20 from these little one-off checks. Haven't been getting many good items, but of course we know that there's a lot of excellent things to find in Hype Cave. And it seems that Fred's probably going to make that call shortly after he delivers this purple chest to the locksmith. Truzzle's got to feel happy with that Titan's Myth now, kind of gives you a sigh of relief that you have full access to a bunch of places, at least easy access to a bunch of more places than you had before.
Yeah, the other nice thing for Truzzle is he actually is fully equipped to be able to take out all of Skullwood, so he won't have to come back and double dip in here.
Yeah. Having the blue mail helps during the Mothra fight, but it's important to remember that the spikes do not care what level of armor you're wearing. They're going to do 1 heart no matter what. So he still will have to be careful, but that extra little security is going to make you feel pretty comfortable as he makes his way through this area.
So Fred finalizing all of his checks that Truzzle already did, so he's going to go ahead and play UPS and deliver his package, and then make his way over and get all the goodies from Hype Cave.
Yeah, it's going to be it's actually quite exciting to see a cave the Hype Cave that hype. Probably the first one I've seen in a long time that had 4 useful items in it.
Yeah, typically you're lucky to find 1. And Truzzle is going to check the lower chest first before heading back to Mothula. So we'll see if this has the item or if it's just the map.
Yeah, well, he does have the mirror, so it's a quick check. And if it's an item that makes Moth easier, it's definitely worth doing. Just a big 20 this time, so he's going to head on in. Does mean that Mothula is not going to drop an item, but that crystal is what we're here for. Let's see if Fred gets. We maybe get some anger bombs after he sees the haul he's about to find in Hype Cave.
Yeah, he's only down to 3 bombs, so he can't bomb everything in here, but he may leave a little prize for the NPC there.
Wow. It's still, I had to watch it again just to see. Powder, blue, there he did. He gave him a bomb. Take that, Hype Cave holder.
And TK Kitty, yes, single arrow was the NPC item in Mini Moldrun Cave.
Yep, so Truzzl's making excellent, getting a lot of really good hammer on Mothula.
Fred is making the pot play.
Oh, wow. Well, he did just pick up Bow. It does mean that there's a potential for some significant dark rooms, but they are not particularly challenging. The maze is probably the hardest part, I would say, because he has a fire rod, so he's going to be able to light torches when he's in the turtle room and the other ones in the back part of Pod. Even if he doesn't feel comfortable doing those in the dark, which some runners are fine with.
Yeah, and also Pod does have a tendency to like to hoard the lamp too, so nothing saying he won't even find it here.
Right, and Truzzle's making a completely different play. He's going to go up to Death Mountain, rescue the old man, and probably take a look at both the light and dark world side of East Death Mountain. He has access to both. So
Correct.
We're about to get a lot of item checks here.
Yeah, the other nice thing for Fred is if he elects to do so right after Pod, he can actually mirror complete the Green Pendant Eastern Palace and then immediately check what Saharasla is going to give him.
That is true, and that may be the move he makes. We'll have to wait and see. A lot of the time, it's really difficult to make that call. Sometimes you want to just get on with it, and spending time in the pendants is hard, but it is right there. So I can see how, yeah, you might want to avoid that potential troll in the future. So Old Man just had a 5-bomb upgrade for us, which wasn't particularly exciting, and Fred's about to check another chest in and find 50 rupees in Palace of Darkness. Nothing exciting yet, but lots more to go. We see 10 bombs on top of Spectacle Rock.
Yeah, Fred gonna get this chest down in the pit. Just a shield, so he will go ahead and use the teleporter and go to the east side of Pod and clear out those enemies with his bow and head up through.
Now, not that it's bad to find a shield, but it should be noted that if they find all 3 shields, that puts puts Laser Bridge in Turtle Rock in the logic. And when you have a pendant early, a medallion early, both of the rods, and the mirror shield, it's almost like the game's trying to tell you something. Just need the Cane of Samaria at that point.
And
so
Truzzl and Hera, yeah.
Yeah, Truzzle's going to take a look at Hera first. He does have a fire source, so if he did end up having to get trolled by the basement, he has a way to light it up. And it is a crystal dungeon, so there really is no harm, no foul to do it.
Really nice beetle room there. Fred dealing with beetles of his own. I find the beetles in this room to be some of the most annoying ones in the game.
He manages to pick up a whole stack of bombs there. I think that was an 8-bomb drop just for all of his troubles there. So that was also worth it because it replenished where he was at. Truzzl gets a piece of heart from this chest in this room, and it looks like he's going to make an attempt to bomb jump. And
really interesting considering he has hook shot.
Yep, but this way he can just run straight back down and out. He doesn't have to fall down, or he does not have the boots to do a bonk back across that hole. So so far, Palace of Darkness has not provided us with any. Ooh, almost tried to squeak through the bumper there, Truzzl, but got a little stuck. Fortunately, did not fall down. As I was saying, Pod has not yet given us anything of value, but this dark area, which we've now lit up with the fire rod, may have something. The big key.
Big key is actually really nice to get here because that allows Fred to go back over and at least do the maze if he's comfortable enough doing it in the dark.
There are torches I think that he can light in there as well. Meanwhile, Truzzle's having a little hard time getting some hammer hit on Trolldorm here, but finishing off that boss with in quick succession afterwards, and is rewarded with a key to the basement and a crystal.
Of course it would be the key. Because Harold loves making you go to the basement.
And I'm afraid I was not keeping count. I'm sure that Truzzle was, so if we see him go back in, we know that there's an item there, and if not, it looks like he... Oh! Yep, he realized afterwards that there's still something in there, and he just can't leave it alone. You never know. It's the chest unopened always feels like it's got something you should have got. So Fred's taking his way through the dark maze. Didn't look like it was looked fairly simple for him, and is rewarded with that Cane of Samaria, which is really telling us.
Oh man! And if we get up to Rock and we see Quake is a medallion.
This seed, but it could just be, there could be nothing there. You never know. Fortunately, because Turtle Rock requires so many items to really clear, it's fairly easy for runners to know if it's the right call to make. Unless, of course, it's one of the rods that they're missing, because and Turtle Rock is expecting you to go find the one thing that you need in there. Truzzle is rewarded with 20 rupees for his trouble of clearing out that tile room, which is very frustrating, I'm sure, as a runner, to think he had already finished the dungeon and wasted all that time.
Yeah, and 20 rupees seems to be the reward for everything here.
Yeah, it has been all of those like one-off checks. Seems to have been a lot of 20 rupee checks. Now we're gonna get a look at what's on the floating island, which is a full heart container. I was wondering if we were gonna see a Turtle Rock check when he comes up through the dark world. But he's going to make his way down Spiral Cave next, and then probably come back up through Paradox, and then check out Hookshot through when he is able to access the portal on top of Turtle Rock.
He may even go down after this and do Paradox kind of backwards, and then head down and go to the Dark World that way to Super Bunny Cave, and then up to Hookshot and jump over that way. Because... yeah, without him having Samaria, there's no reason he would even bother doing anything more than possibly opening up to Rock.
Oh, just taking a look. Oh, no, it looks like he's going to use the mirror to set up a portal right between the two doors between Paradox and Super Bunny Cave. So yes, he's probably going to make sure he's going to check both of those in short succession to one another.
And Fred is going and finishing off Palace of Darkness. He is on Helmasaur, which having Hammer, of course, makes this fight really trivial, as well as having the bow if he chooses to finish him off that way.
Yeah, and Truzzle finds in the first part of Paradox Cave the Master Sword. Feels good to get. Of course, if you had silver arrows, Fred would be able to one-shot the Helmasaur King, but instead he's going to have to chain a whole bunch into his forehead. And the Tempered Sword and Red Mail found in Paradox Cave. What is with these large caves and their hordes of items? 300 rupees and some bombs to go along with it. Truzzle feels tricked out now. I can only imagine that he feels really good about the items that he has managed to locate so far.
The interesting thing is, both of these runners, what they have accomplished is all through, or well, no, actually, Truzzle is not technically sequence breaking because, well, he does have flute. So this is where possibly all the logic is flowing to.
Yep, just the lack of a lantern at this point does mean that the Palace of Darkness completion that Fred has slightly out of sequence. But again, as we mentioned, with the fire rod, being able to light up all of those rooms with torches makes it a very mild sequence break at the very least.
Yeah, and Fred did immediately flute up, and Truzzle finds another bottle, this one with red drink in it, so he's going to have some Kool-Aid to fill up his health later if he needs it. Fred is sequence breaking the old man from the back, so he will be clearing out his old man check, and then we'll probably be making the same exact play as Truzzle up to Hera and then over to East F Mountain.
Yep. And we saw that it was the Bombos medallion in Turtle, so it is not yet a major lead to telling us that's going to be necessary. And we are now in another cave that has a lot of chests. Let's see if it holds up. So far, just 6 bombs. There's our lantern, though. And 300 more rupees. So it was a definite, logically required place to go, Hookshot Cave. And I'm curious to see where Truzzle decides to head next. I would guess it's going to be Palace of Darkness, or no, it looks like he's going to check out the Mire area.
Yeah, probably check the medallion because Mire is, of course, the Crystal Dungeon, and check out the Mire Shed and Checkerboard Cave. So we'll see if anything of interest. And you can also at least do some of desert as long as the torch doesn't have anything.
That is true. He did find that it was Quake, so he has the correct medallion to go in there. Oh, unfortunately, did not get the mirror to disappear that block, and so he's going to have to exit and come back into the Mire Shed, which is kind of a frustrating thing for any runner at this point. It's just a time waste that you're not used to having to make.
Yeah, Green Goo and Flippers in the Mire Shed, though. So with that means that we have access to Swamp.
Yes, he's going to take a look at the Checkerboard Cave, which makes sense at this point to go and take a look at. Interesting. It'll be interesting if he makes the risky dive into Misery Mire without the Cane of Samaria. We know that it is in the Palace of Darkness. There's another shield. It may be logically required still. Fred is hookshotting across to the big chest and now has to fall down the level just to get out of that little trapped area he was in.
So other than being trolled by the boots, we are in sort of a FOMO mode right now. If boots aren't required, then this seed is definitely completable at this point.
That is true, and we have the knowledge where everything is, right? So we are in no mode, I think. We know that Bombos is not necessary. We have, as long as, of course, that there isn't a key, or the big key is not on the torch up here that we're about to see in a few moments, we might be ready to go.
Of course, until we get to Ganon's Tower and Bob's torch.
The big key on the torch in Ganon's Tower would be the ultimate troll in this case, because we are early on. There's Ether, which is one of the 2 items here in Desert Palace.
We'll see if Fred returns to make his dive into the basement of Hera. We know it's just 20 rupees. What
that tells us is that it is going to be the big key has to be on the torch there, so we have to hunt for the boots at this point.
And it looks like Truzzle's immediately going to Swamp.
Yeah, he's making the Swamp call, which is a good call, I think, logically at this point. Swamp is a nice dungeon to be able to go mode, but with so many chests there, and when you're searching for things like boots, it's like a one-off that you need. You do want to head to those high-density locations. Meanwhile, Fred has managed to get himself in a coffee break position on the pegs down in the basement of Tower of Hera.
Good time to call your mom while we wait for all these tiles to clean themselves up. Truzzle entering Swamp without remembering to release the dam first.
I think we've all done that at some point. Just get so pumped up and excited about what you're doing.
Yeah, we've already seen him miss a block with the mirror as well, so possibly he hit the mirror and it just did not activate before he entered,
Or maybe having some
which can happen.
yeah, controller issues perhaps. Fred's gonna get big 20 here and feel a little disappointed by that weight, but there's not much he can do about it. Now he's about to go and see the wonders that is Paradox Cave. 2 sword upgrades and all those good items plus red mail.
Yeah, he's going to get all that and then be able to get lamp out of hookshot. So a lot of beneficial items for him here. And actually, I would say that Bombos being the medallion for T-Rock is going to really help Fred out because he may have dove T-Rock otherwise.
Yeah, if he has the cane and both rods at this point, if he had access, he might think, you know what, the seed's telling me to go here. So you're right, absolutely not lacking that medallion is may be a lifesaver here. All right, so Truzzl's not forgetting to pick up the key before he floods it. Despite the fact that it's mentioned every time, you still see people making that mistake from time to time when they are in a rush, flooding the skull keys in Swamp Palace.
Yeah, the second key is actually a much bigger culprit for being flooded because a lot of people will use the key from the hookshot pot to sort of open up that area and go down backwards, and will tend to flood the key before they pick it up.
Yeah, and as I'm reminded now that you can't really flood that one. You do need the key to open the door to flood that area. So it's only the second one that you can flood. So Fred's going to find himself, he just finds the first of the 2 swords. And he's in for a treat when he enters this area. Meanwhile, Truzzl still hasn't found anything of value here in Swamp Palace. There are, of course, a lot of would-be nice items still remaining. Like half magic would be nice to find for any runner, and as well the silver. Not required for either of these runners, but
no, both of these runners are able to do silverless. Having temper makes the silverless even nicer. Fred gonna do his bomb jump here to get back over and just make his way up to the top.
So it'll be interesting. Truzzle's going to make definitely. I think you have to check the left side here when you don't know exactly what you need to finish the seed. Almost makes a mistake going in the wrong door there, but he doesn't yet know that there's only one item that he could hope to find in here that will be necessary to beat the seed, being the boots. So he still, in his mind, there's still possibly several items worth looking for.
Well, he knows he still needs Samaria yet. He can't do anything in Meyer without that, so he's definitely going to continue looking for that, not knowing that is over in Pod.
So he's aware that he needs boots. Fred yet does not know that he needs the boots, but he'll find out relatively shortly. He may be able to he'll be able to do Meyer after he gets his lantern here in Hookshot Cave. It'll be even easier. And that might be where he's led to next, just because he has the cane recently found.
Yeah, and without flippers, doesn't really have a play to Swamp yet. The only play he may make before that would be to head to Skull Woods, maybe thinking that second item there might be something beneficial. But that wouldn't be a time sink anyway, because he does need to return for that crystal.
Mm-hmm. And it is important to note that Fred still is on 6 hearts. As much as he's able to do a low heart run, you gotta feel a little nerve-wracking when you're getting to some of these later stage dungeons and being at that situation, being at that number of hearts. You just kind of wish that you were finding some more complete hearts, or that you had stopped to pick up some of those pieces of hearts that you skipped along the way.
Yeah, Fred is going to head into the Dark World for Meyer and probably a little bit of the dungeon check or the desert check as well, but the correct play here, because he will be getting his flippers and we will probably see a little bit of Meyer as well. And Truzzl, I do believe, did skip left side swamp. So
Oh, no,
that...
he did the left side. He did.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So he's gone on a full clear here. Just picked up the big chest key, so the big key. So it's not sure whether or not he'll come back in and check the big key chest. I haven't, again, been keeping a good enough track of this. The action's been all over the place. There we find the boots on the ledge. Oh my goodness, what a mistake that Truzzl didn't think to check there.
Oh,
they were available to him the whole time.
So with that, Fred is actually now in go mode.
Yeah, that actually puts Fred in go mode. What a turn of events there.
That is crazy. Truzzl is going to be so upset when he finally finds the boots on that ledge there.
What a just, you know, a small thing that you kind of forget that is possible. And yeah. I would be surprised if he heads back there anytime soon. He has so many overworld checks available to him that he could be making. Just because he probably thinks he already saw it, you know, and that it wasn't anything. And you don't want to go back there without cause or reason, so...
Yeah, I mean, maybe the biggest benefit that he can run into is his next play would be pod, he'd get the cane, Samaria, and then immediately head back to Meyer. Like, right, that may lead him back that way, but that's about it.
Yes, but you still got to think to yourself, he's going to be in the dark world when he comes right down from that flute location, and without a reason to mirror, he won't see it. It'll be interesting to see. He might remember that he needs to make the check. Oh, look like he's going to pod, which makes logical sense right now. Meanwhile, we're going to get a look at the death of Lanmolas here.
Really quick work of them by Fred.
Yep. But this does mean that Fred is able to go mode Swamp, which is a very fast dungeon when you go mode it. You don't have to do anything but pick up a key. You know, like once you get to that main area, it's just forget about the chests. And then as well, Misery Mire, it's possible to have a really nice go mode through Misery Mire where you get the big key and the 2 small keys that you need as your first couple of checks. It's a really quick dungeon as well sometimes when it behaves.
Yeah, and his re-dive into Skullwoods will be rather trivial as well, just running to the back to take out Mothula. So Fred in really good position here. We'll see how long it takes Truzzl to realize that he doesn't need to check Desert Ledge yet. And when he does, he'll probably have a little catching up to Fred to do, depending on how long it takes him to get over there.
Yeah, you gotta think that he's gonna have to full clear Palace of Darkness, which is a long time. He does have the lantern, which speeds it up compared to when Fred went through it, but every minute now that he does not have or does not check that ledge is just Fred getting further and further ahead. It's really it's still anybody's game because mistakes can be made, but it was a decision that was made that is going to haunt him, I think. So we find the 1 small key. The hope for a fast Misery Mire is still alive. Gonna head to the right here, check out this chest and the key that you can get in this room. If he finds the big key here, he's gonna be able to just go straight to the north door. Unfortunately, it is not that.
Yeah, when you don't find the big key in one of the first 2 chests and you're in a go mode Mire, it's really frustrating because the first thought that goes into your mind is vanilla location, and no one wants that.
And the additional checks that the other kind of downside that we have for Truzzl here is that the additional checks that he can make, even something like the Silver Arrows or Butter Sword, is really not worth the time invested for runners of this caliber. So if he decides to do something like Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb and Bonker, he won't be able to do either King's Tomb or Rocks because he doesn't have the boots, but maybe head up the Catfish, check the Pyramid, and those things. That's just going to be more time that he does not want to be spending.
Yeah, and that's where the biggest time loss comes. It's not, having to come back to desert or something with the boots later on. It's all these additional spots that he may check.
Mm-hmm.
And Red did get the big key, so he's on the way to the back of Mire.
So it was a medium-level Mire. It wasn't the best possible routing through Mire that he could have possibly hoped for, but the items didn't give him too hard of a time there. They're pretty nice.
Still amazing that he is on 6 hearts, even with the red mail.
Oh, yes. Like,
it is just scary.
It is impressive. He does have 4 bottles. He's going to be able to, and the flute, so he'll be able to stop by the potion vendor. He's got a large supply of money and have a lot of security in the form of blue potions. He does have the powder as well, so the climb up Ganon's tower is not going to be too dangerous if he's stopping and getting full heart resupplies off of those anti-fairies. So, it is nail biting. It is something that is definitely possible, and he probably will feel fairly comfortable along the way.
Yeah, he even has bug nets, so he can even capture a few fairies for a rainy day. But
if there's an emergency for it.
Yeah, he is going to be taking on Vidrius. We'll be going with the standard sword strat.
Yeah, with 6 hearts, you really just have to sit here and spam your sword blade. The cane is going to help him out a little bit here, but with not half magic, it's really not going to be. He will probably run out of magic at some point. Oh, looks like he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, at least got him through 2 lightning blasts. Was able to avoid the final one. So
Truzzl having a hard time with this bridge. He's trying to make the bomb jump there a couple of times, and he's fallen in. Finally makes it, gets the cane. Meanwhile, Fred has finished off the Vitreous boss there, gotten himself his next crystal, and has just Swamp and Skullwoods before he heads up Death Mountain.
Yeah, my guess is either one, both make sense. Both are going to be really quick too, because nothing is quite the same feeling as Go Mode Swamp. I mean, that is probably one of the best things as a runner that you can have.
Now, what's interesting?
What's first?
Yeah, what's interesting here is that Fred's got to be reminding himself of deaths he took on blind, and you got to feel like your opponent is going to have made similar decisions to you in a seed like this. So I'm wondering if he feels like he might be a little bit behind at this point.
Yeah, especially because the thing that's really tying Truzzl up right now is the fact that he did skip something that you don't really expect any runner to skip, with being the Desert Ledge. So he has to believe that if he's in go mode at this point, Truzzl's right there with him.
Yeah, at least on par or maybe a little bit ahead. And to be honest, I would have, if I were to have made a judgment at that time before Fred picked up those boots, I would have said that Truzzl had a significant lead on him. But that was a monumental change in the swing of the pendulum there, I think.
For certain. So Fred's just going to make a quick dive back here. Shouldn't see him have too much difficulty with the Mothula fight. I mean, he is still at 6 hearts, and we do know that, spikes don't care about your tunic color, but I think he'll do quite well, especially because he still has a blue potion in reserve as well. I believe.
And he also has the tempered sword this time around, so like the damage that he is going to be doing to Mothula with his sword is a lot easier to inflict than he would have had to with the hammer previously when Truzzl was doing it. So it's just a much easier fight in this case. And the beams there, it's over before it starts, it seems.
Yeah, really
That was
quick
actually-
fight.
Yes, I remembered that the RNG on Mothula was really nice to Truzzl when he went down there the first time, so Fred got to benefit from that even greater. So that was a speed run for sure. He's going to make a nice quick jump through the Swamp Palace next. And this seed has changed from a average timed seed, I would say, to a pretty quick one in the turn of like in the finding of just one item.
Yeah, and I believe outside of Pod and the old man check, Fred did not actually do any sequence breaking throughout this, so the game
just
letting you where to go.
He did Pod, yeah, just the dark rooms that he did. Where's Truzzl gonna head now? He's going to Misery Mire. Is he going to remember that he did not check the desert ledge? If he does make this miracle call here and realize that he should check this, it may even things up a bit, but instead he's heading right into Misery Mire, so not going to have an opportunity, and it's going to force him to feel like he needs to full clear.
Yeah, and another unfortunate thing for Truzzl here is boots are a lot nicer for Mire, so it will take him a little bit longer to get through Mire even than it did take Fred.
Oh, that absolutely, yes. All those long bridges that you have to walk down instead of run makes a difference.
Not to mention, he may full clear Mire for that item.
Oh yeah, of course he has to believe that they're there. I mean, at this point, like, it's got to be first and foremost in his mind. And so now, viewers, you're going to get an opportunity to see just how fast a run without a go mode swamp is. You can bypass that first chest, head up here, pick the key up, flood the room, and it's pretty much done. Changes the dungeon from about a 6 or 7 minute clear to around 2.
Yeah, and of course, just like Truzzl for Fred, the fight with Argus is going to be very simplistic. It's just hook shot swing all the way, and then just 2 fire rod shots and a spin from the tempered sword, and that fight can be over just as soon as it starts.
Right, like he's already heads back here, pushes the statue, and it's a fast dungeon in go mode.
Truzzl going to be making his way over to the west side of Mire. We'll see if he elects to just make an immediate dive towards the Vanilla Big Key location, or if he... nope, he is heading back first to check where the Big Key actually is.
And he has to be keeping a count in his mind of the items. Fred decides that he's going to check these bottom 2 things. Maybe he's hoping for... Well, he gets another heart container out of that. Just a little bit more insurance might feel good at this point. He didn't have to make the check there. Does not need the big key to finish Swamp Palace. But these chests are along the way, so it's a quick and easy check.
Yeah, and not only having 6 hearts, finding silvers would not be the worst thing in the world for Fred, so...
That is true.
That's probably what guided the check more than anything, is just the hopes that, you know, hey, maybe I will find silvers and get really lucky here. And we are having the Vanilla Big Key check here by Truzzl, so we're going to have another nice wait on his side while Fred takes out Argus.
So we haven't really had a good opportunity yet, but I'd like to suggest to both of our runners, or all of our viewers, that if you're enjoying what you're seeing, that you take a moment to head over to both Fred and Truzzl's streams and give them a follow. They're putting on a great show. All of the people who are participating in this tournament deserve all of your love and affection. So if you feel that you have the time to go and do that, that'd be a great thing to do, I think.
Absolutely. Fred, unfortunately, missing with his fire rod shots, but Does take out Argus. Gets his heart, so he is up to 8 now at least.
That's got to feel pretty good. You went in there in the go mode dungeon and came out with 2 very useful hearts. That's going to make you feel a little bit more confident. Truzzle's kind of bouncing around back and forth in Misery Mire here, not quite sure where he wants to go.
Also,
he's got the big key chest to check.
Also, I think we can do something quick.
Oh yes, you're right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Fred is on his way up to Dark Mountain, and if you know what time it is, it's time to play the big key guessing game. So in the chat right now, as long as you're a subscriber to the Speed Gaming network of channels, or you've donated 250 bits to one of the channels, you're going to be able to participate and guess the number of which chest will contain the GT big key. Would you tell them what they win if they are correct in this? So those of you if you do select the correct one, you will be your name will forever be emblazoned upon the leaderboard, and you'll get all of the reputation that comes along with that. So it's certainly a useful and wonderful prize. So we got a few more seconds before you need to finish up your checks before Fred gets himself into the dungeon. Do you have a guess, Crimson, on where the key location is going to be for yourself?
I always guess 11. I am always usually wrong, but 11's my typical guess.
I'm feeling that this seed wants to be quick all of a sudden, so I'm going to go for 6. So Truzzl, unfortunately, is probably going to feel disappointed coming out of this. Like, he was probably really hoping for the boots, and now is starting to, your head might start to go places like, is there something in Turtle Rock? Do I have to go there? So Fred's taking a slightly different route. He went for the torch check first, decided to pick up those 50 rupees. You never know when you're going to need them. So our check number 1 was torch, which normally is 3.
Yeah, Fred may be doing left side first because he might feel he is slightly behind, because, well, we do know this was a rather quick seed, so he's maybe making a gamble if his opponent would go right first that he may be able to make up a little bit of time at the big keys over here.
So we're up to 5 with no big key yet. Gets himself the cape there. Will Truzzl check the desert ledge? Everyone, it looks, he's pulling out the mirror. Wow, he is going to be an upset penguin when he sees this situation. Oh, he's forgotten he needs the boots.
Oh, man.
I thought he was going to go, and he just went into Desert Palace. Oh, no. What's he going to do? Please remember to check. Yes, he is remembering. Oh, swords the vulture out of the way. No time to even be upset. He's just got to go now.
Yeah, just has to make a quick dive back in here, go get his big key, and we'll actually be back into Yana's Tower. Not as far back of Fred as he possibly could have been if he would have spent the time elsewhere.
So still laying bombs in all of these treasure chests. Has not yet found the big key. What if it was one or the first or second chest over there on the right side?
Well, then we'll see 2 bombs on that chest, but
he has a healthy supply of bombs with which to explode chests. Gets a good bonk skip on that last teleporter there. Something that I myself have never been able to accomplish.
Yeah, it's really difficult because you have to sort of be on the last pixel right before it to get that bonk out and around.
Oh, Armo Snipe.
So it's a lot easier.
So I'm afraid I've lost count on the chests. I hope that, that you've got that, because I don't. Or perhaps our tracker, who's been doing a fantastic job today, has a good count.
Well, behind here will be chests 13, 14, and 15, because we have 7 on the right side.
That's true, yes. Oh, the final Armo Snipe's giving him a little chase on the ice, but manages to take him down.
So here we have our armor check. Do we have a vanilla big key?
No, but we did find silver arrows, which really is a nice thing. You would not, since we now know that it's if the big key is here, you might miss it.
Yeah, Fred is going to have to pick up a few arrows heading up. He is down to 1, and well, quite a few arrows are required going up, but
there are a few in the gauntlet area that you can get, and I don't think I haven't made notice yet of what the stun prize is, so there's a potential for that to give you arrows as well. Silver and butter, though, finding those in the in Ganon's tower just to make this seed a little bit faster is pretty nice.
Yeah, Fred has to be really happy. No, he doesn't know he's in the lead, but definitely has to be really happy with really the easiest Ganon fight you can get. I mean,
especially with
butter, red mail.
Especially with the low hearts, yeah. So here we go.
Well, another heart is nice.
Oh my goodness, is it going to be tile room? Oh, the key just before the chest just before tile room.
So, if you guessed 21 tonight, congratulations, the winner is you. Fred picking up his key, and he will be on his way up.
Yeah, he's taking a look for arrows, I think, there. Yeah, he's gonna make. He must feel like he's ahead at this point. To risk this. I would say that this is a fairly strange call, unless he has knowledge for sure that there are arrows in some of these areas that I'm quite sure. Is he just hoping that he's going to get an arrow drop from killing some mobs?
Yeah, I'm not really.
Because I usually think you can count on the gauntlet to have quite a few arrow drops potential. If the stun prize is arrows, and he's not been making use of it, that seems like a pretty big oversight at this point. Makes a mistake on the on trying to use the boomerang there. He's saving his magic at this point.
Now this is actually going to allow Truzzl to catch up, because he's actually right where the big key is.
That is true. He was definitely feeling behind and made that call to go to the right side. Now, he will not have silvers, but at this point, neither does Fred.
No, I mean, really, Fred is going to benefit from butter and silvers, but, I mean, Truzzl is going to be up on the gauntlet before Fred is.
Yes, what a turn of events. This seed has been, this race has gone back and forth at several occasions. Fred's going to check this chest, get 5 arrows there. That might be enough to trigger him to start heading up the tower. 5 arrows is enough. He lays a bomb there just to show his displeasure. Now, having butter sword and silver still puts him at a significant advantage at this point, but that was a lot of time spent trying to find those arrows.
Really interesting that he then uses one of those arrows to hit the switch trigger instead of like hook shot or boomerang or something like that. No, he doesn't need it out for these guys, but
yeah, he needed the arrows to get through through this area, which is why he did it. But you have to feel like you would have potentially had an opportunity to find them. And if the stun prize really was arrows, that's a real shame that he didn't just, you know, hookshot one of those skeleton staphoses at the beginning and make note of that. Well, Truzzl is making pretty good time through the gauntlet. He has managed to clear most of the rooms with pretty quick succession. He has quite a few more hearts than Fred, but again, that butter sword is really going to make the Ganon fight significantly easier to get through the first two phases, and then the silver arrows for the last bit, potentially just an amazing difference.
yeah, no difference for either of our runners through the gauntlet, just because Tempered will take all the enemies out in one hit as well. Possibly a slightly easier Landmola fight for Fred, but that would be about it.
Ooh, very nice double hit with one fire shot. Gets Beamos right before he drinks that red potion, but fortunately the red mail makes it so that he does not, only takes one heart instead of two from that situation.
So yeah, what seemed early on as, you know, Truzzl being in a fairly comfortable lead to Fred taking the lead when he finds boots, to this, we're coming down to a really close finish here.
Yeah, it could be right down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. We are in for a treat, I think. I will not be surprised that we'll see both of our runners at Ganon at the same time, I would say.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, really, one of our biggest differences, other than the sword and silver arrows, of course, is going to be how they treat Aghanim 2, whether they are able to get some of those doubles and triples that the opponent cannot get.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna come down to, oh, Fred sees another set of arrows. He's definitely gonna want to pick up any arrows he sees just for the insurance, I think, at this point. Heads into the final lantern areas before Trolldorm 2.
So Fred right now about 2 rooms behind, takes the purposeful fall right there, which is not a bad decision, helps you get back to the other torch much quicker.
Yep. Truzzl did have to grab an extra key out of the Helmasaur room. Fred's not going to need to do that because he picked up a whole bunch while he was clearing Ganon's tower. And Trolldorm, will you change the tide of this fight, of this race once again? Oh, Truzzl making the hover! Wow! Ladies and gentlemen, Truzzl pulling out all the stops, feeling the burn. That's just a few more seconds that could potentially make all of the difference in a race like this.
Yeah, luckily Fred only going to require 2 shots on Moldorm here before he can get over, so really not too far behind at all. So we'll see how Truzzl treats Aghanim 2. Fred gonna bomb the final chest there before continuing on.
I think we got a 1. Truzzl got a 1 on the first Aga set of balls, missing both in the second phase because of those blue balls, just knocking him back. Looks like that should have been a double.
Yeah.
And another double there.
Just giving a really bad pattern here. So
got a little bit of frame skip there, so I didn't see it. This looks like a nice setup. Gets another one out of there. Ooh, it's going to be close. This is all on. Okay, Truzzl puts down Aga 2.
Fred a few hits behind.
Fred with a triple there. Whew.
Yeah, triple definitely helped Fred out. Only needs 1 more hit to take out him. So, I mean, both runners extremely close together right now.
We are within like 5 seconds at this point. It's really going to come down to the wire. I have not seen a race this close in quite some time. There was a tie earlier in the tournament, and we may be looking at a possibility at the very least here.
Yeah, I was in that tie, so calling the next one would be quite interesting.
You know, just that difference in the sword tech is going to be what allows Fred to catch up some.
Yeah, we'll see if Truzzl can one-cycle Ganon stage 2 here. If he can, that will actually put him in good position because Fred will definitely be able to one-cycle it.
He definitely was. He managed to get in that perfect spot, that sweet spot, and did a bunch of spirals during it, and has progressed to phase 4.
So yeah, both of our runners, I mean, neck and neck right now with the platform falls from Ganon.
Oh, it's gotta hurt to see. Did you find the arrows in my tower when you're Truzzl and you know that you skipped the whole side just to make a clear? Gets his first hit, and Fred did not get the torch glitch, which is going to slow him down a little bit on this kill.
Yeah, having silvers though is definitely putting him in a nice spot. Gets the double, so Fred is going to take this just by the skin of his teeth. He will edge out Truzzl here.
Wow, what a close race this was, ladies and gentlemen. Fred enters the Triforce room and will complete the seed with an official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 15 seconds.
Get your GG's out, and definitely have some in queue because Truzzl is right behind him, doing a wonderful, masterful job with Silverless Ganon right now. Not an easy task at all.
No, and he's really he's really made some significant catch-ups here. He hasn't missed very many of these spins and has now just completed the Ganon fight. And we are within a minute. We're going to be under a minute's difference, I believe, between these two runners. After having missed out on that boots on ledge, managing to regain such time, Truzzl finishes the matchup at an official time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 1 second. GG to both of our runners now.
What an incredible race. Definitely worthy of a 2-0 matchup here.
Absolutely. That was a lot of fun to call. So we're going to just see if we can get both of our runners to come in to see if they're ready to have a little chat with us and get their thoughts on this seed.
While we are waiting to hear from our runners, just a quick reminder, if you are enjoying what you're seeing, there are a ton of races for this spring Randomizer tournament, so definitely be sure to give all of the Speed Gaming Network a follow, as well as a link to the past Randomizer Network. A bunch of races going on there constantly, so this is only week 3 of 7 weeks worth of Swiss matchups, and then we have our brackets afterwards, so a lot of exciting tournament events yet to come.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see if I can get a response out of either of our runners. I haven't managed to get in touch with them. Perhaps they had to step away from their computers right after they run a tight race like that. You know, you might need to take a little break and a little stretch. So just bear with us while we see if we can grab them.
Okay, and I do believe we have Fred here, and we'll get Truzzl in here as well. Good game, both of you.
No, thank you.
Good game.
Yes, GG on that very, very close race. I'm gonna just ask you, Fred. Did you feel like you were? How did you feel like you were doing there? It seemed like you were entering the Ganon's Tower, and there was a moment where it felt like you might have thought you were behind.
Oh, I knew. I
Is
thought
that
I was
true?
behind from the very beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if that blind fight was weighing heavily on your mind or not.
Oh yeah, 3 deaths minimum there, maybe 4. Or there's one at least in there, plus another 2. Yeah, that blind fight was horrendous, and so I figured I was just behind the whole way there. And then, oh gosh, when I had 1 arrow left, I got to learn where they put more arrows in there.
Yeah, it was definitely apparent that you were not sure where to find those arrows you need to kill the mimics on the way up the tower there.
I could have taken a risk that they would have dropped in arrows, but yeah, I didn't think that was going to happen. So
Yeah, I'm not sure. The chat was saying that stun prize was arrows. Did you know that, or were they mistaken?
yeah, I discovered that very beginning, and yeah, filed that away, and of course, went into a giant panic of doom.
Oh, that's very unfortunate. But it turned out for the best for you. The full clear, basically, of the Ganon's Tower allowed you to get both the silver arrows and the butter sword, which sped things up tremendously for you. So it turns out that was for the best. Yes, and I must say that for both of you, if you rewatch this race, you'll see that you were going back and forth with the lead all the way along. It was a very tight race, so congratulations as well there.
Yeah, I was completely scared when I saw Truzzl here because, I've seen nothing but incredibly good times and solid play off of him. So it came down to, just hoping I got lucky, and apparently I did. But that was a great race, man.
Yeah, that was that was a really fast seed. Like, it seemed like everything was where you wanted it to be.
Follow the breadcrumbs.
Oh yeah,
we actually was version 29, not 27.
We actually got one of the hypiest hype caves I've seen in a while.
Oh, definitely.
With 4 out of the 5 items were useful, which is not something you see every day.
Yeah, I really wish I'd gone there before Thieves Town.
Yeah, that was one of the moments where you went down and emptied out the village of outcasts, found yourself a sword fairly early on, but then got stuck at the blind fight, whereas Truzzl didn't yet check the brewer's house there at the bottom of Village of Outcasts and had to hammer fight
oh geez,
blind at that point. So it was pretty dramatic with some of the little changes there. And then I believe you went up to Skullwoods a little bit later after both of you went up there near the end of the seed, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, Truzzl, you were a little earlier, weren't you?
Yeah, I think I cleared out the stuff south of Village of Outcasts and then went up.
That's correct. Yeah, because you did not have the Titan's mitts, which kind of got you stuck on the south end of... You went down to dig game and weren't able to go back up. So you had to... So that led you over to Hype Cave, which turns out to have been a really beneficial thing for you to get all those checks. Unless that was your intention.
I think I went to Hype Cave and then went over to Thieves Town and then went south and mirrored back and went back up to... It was a weird route. I don't know what I was doing. Just hoping to find Titan's mitts.
So when you both of you, when you see both the fire rod, the ice rod, a medallion, Cane of Samaria fairly early on for you, Fred, in Palace of Darkness, not so much for you, Truzzl. Does that tell you that you might have to dip into the Pendant Turtle Rock? Is that starting to signal that to you?
It was definitely weighing on my mind. The main reason I didn't actually was those deaths at blind. I was playing from behind at that point and said, okay, I'm going to go up, hit Hera. I'm just going to clear out Death Mountain there because I was hoping. And then as I was looking, because trust me, I was considering that. I mean, fortunately, Bombo sat there, but I think even if that had been Quake sitting there, at that point I said, I'm behind. The only chance I really have is to start hitting these dungeons, and at that point I really needed to see what was blocking Meyer to get in there.
We also were speculating there that there were several shields were available. Neither of you picked them both up, but it was possible to have had Fire Shield at that point as well, which would have, I think, maybe made you think, oh no, Mirror Shield's just one shield away, and that's Laser Bridge being signaled. But fortunately,
we already had Blue Cane though.
That is true as well. Yeah, you could have Blue Caned it. Fortunately, though, Bombos was a mystery for all of us. Probably sitting in Ice Palace somewhere. Keeping you from steering you away from that area. Now the other area that was really item dense, you had a Paradox Cave that gave you 2 swords and a red mail. Lots of exciting, lots of like locuses of items, and then all of the little one-off spots were just giving you those big 20s. That had to feel a little frustrating.
Yeah.
I think on both of your streams, we saw several bombs being tossed at chests and areas for that.
Don't know what you're talking about. I'd never do anything like that.
Yeah. And I must say, Truzzl, like, I have to ask you, the big turning point in this matchup between the two of you was the boots.
Yeah.
Was that just a miss in your mind, like, or what happened?
The moment I found flippers and I went into desert, I started thinking I should be over at swamp right now. Mm-hmm. And it just slipped my mind when I got out.
Yeah, because you saw that the big key had to be on the torch, and we were just waiting for you to go ahead and go, oh well, I guess I'll head over into onto the ledge, and you just did not make that call. And was there a moment when you went through Meyer where you were like, I need to check that ledge? Like, what was your thoughts there?
Honestly, the moment I flew away, I was like, I forgot to check ledge. And I was like, what are the odds that boots are on ledge? And it turns out, in this case, pretty decent.
They were 100% in this case. Because that allowed Fred to get go modes on Swamp Palace. Pretty much Skullwoods was already kind of cleared out for him. But that was a tremendous difference. And he also got to do a fast clear of Misery Mire as a result. Did not have to do the whole clear, which you did at that point. So really gave him a little bit of a leg up. Which you did manage to catch up on him because of your decision to go full right side in Ganon's Tower. So was that a thought, just I'm behind, I should do that?
Excuse me. Not really. Usually if I find a key in one of the 2 chests there, I'll check out right side.
Oh yes, well it turned out for the best for you in that case, except you didn't have the silver arrows, which were right behind Armos Knight. So that was pretty much the difference maker in this particular matchup. You did get a beautiful one cycle phase 2 of Ganon. You were right up in the middle of that fire ring doing spins with the tempered sword. It was amazing.
Yeah, I was happy to see him go there.
Yep. So do you have any last any statements that you'd like to make? Congratulations once again on the win, Fred and Truzzl. A 2-1 record is still really, really in a safe spot there. So you're both going to have a lot of potential left in the tournament. Anything that you'd like to say at the end here, Fred, before we end the stream?
All I can say is, Truzzl, you played incredibly well, especially if it sounds like, with everything I'm hearing about this, I'm definitely looking forward to watching this back, and I'm looking forward to seeing you hit 6-1 there and make it, because, you from what I'm seeing here, you got the talent to do that, so.
Thanks, man.
Hopefully we'll play in the finals of the tournament or something.
Hopefully.
Get a rematch.
Okay, and the same question to you, Truzzl. Any shout-outs or things that you'd like to make comments on as we end this particular matchup?
Just don't forget to check Desert Ledge.
Yes, that's a lesson for everyone. It's important to remember those spots that will haunt you for the rest of the game. Alrighty. Well, thanks a lot, runners. Both of you guys did a fantastic job. It was a very close race. I'm sure that the chat has been talking about how exciting it was. For sure, you definitely want to be making another check. Just once again, chat, it would be really great for you guys if you want to see more randomizer races, or if you want to watch these guys as they progress, throw them a follow on Twitch. And they deserve it, and we'll probably be seeing them later on in the tournament, of course, in the weeks to come. So thanks again, gentlemen. All right, and so on behalf of the Spring Randomizer Tournament, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'd like to throw out a thank you to my casting partner, Cribson, for helping you guys through this seed with me. Had a lot of fun. It was an exciting race. As well, if you could be sure to give him a follow, I think that would be a nice thing to do. And as well, bad props to Space Cowboy, who was our tracker for this race. He did an excellent job keeping us all apprised of what items there are, and it's very difficult to be watching those map checks, so a follow for him would be a great thing as well.
And yeah, thank you, Crowzone. Be sure to give him a follow as well. Definitely awesome guy to do commentary with tonight, so I really enjoyed it. And then once again, thank you to Speed Gaming Network and the admins for Link to Pass Randomizer. So I guess that will do it for us, Crowzone. So thank you everyone again for stopping by, and I'll let you send it on out.
All right, so just so you're all aware, there's plenty of races still happening tomorrow and in the upcoming days and weeks. Lots of randomizer to be watched, so please keep abreast of the schedule on the challenge, and we hope to see you all sooner rather than later. Have a good night, and thanks for watching.